Welcome to the Everyday Awesome Project, where we bring you inspirational stories and game-changing strategies to live your most awesome life. Hey, superstars, Paulie here, and a solo episode. And so this episode is why I do hard and scary things and why you should too. And it's inspired, I'm taking on a new hard and scary challenge right now. I am working my way towards a hike up Mount Whitney, the tallest 14er in the continental United States. Holy crap. On the John Muir Trail in California. Can't wait, in about 2.5 weeks. And I mean, just saying, like, okay, 6,000 feet elevation gain, about 22 miles in a day. You're hiking at 9,000 to 14,000 feet. Hard. Scary part of it is I was just invited by a friend to do it about 3 weeks from when they're going. And this is a lottery thing. You can't just like go hike up Mount Whitney. You have to win a lottery or, somebody invites you. So I was invited, hey, we're going, you should do it. Like, you could totally do it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, in 3 weeks, I haven't been working out, and people train for this thing for a year, 6 months at least to a year. So first thing I did was I reached out to Samantha and I was like, oh my God, I just got invited to hike Mount Whitney, which I've been wanting to do. Samantha's done it, if you can imagine. Of course she has, but I haven't. And it's been like, hey, let's go do that. And we just haven't put it out there. So it showed up in my life. I love this, right? And so in the first moment, I'm like, okay, that's going to be hard and it's scary. And Samantha said, why did you even ask me? You should just say yes. And so I was like, okay. I was like, send me the dates. What are we doing? And so I have no idea how this is all going to unfold when I accepted this. This was about a week ago now. I've been in the works towards it. But it has really had me thinking. Yesterday, I did a 16 and a half mile trek, 3,000 miles elevation gain. It was like 75, 80 degrees out. It was a good challenge. And the longest hike I'd been on in a couple months was like maybe 2 hours, right? So it was like, holy smokes. So, why do this hard thing? Why do this scary thing? And I'm really seeing it inside of my Come Alive program. If you haven't heard about that, we'll share a link to that. I'm seeing the participants, the ladies in my Come Alive, as they are like, they stretch themselves, as they grow themselves, as they put, things that like excite you. It's not like terrifying. Like, I'm not saying go do something that would absolutely terrify you. There's definitely growth in that. Put your life on the line. That's up to you. I'm not saying do that, but we all have different levels of scary. We all have different levels of hard, depending on where they are, right? And so, you know what? We all have things that we're avoiding. I mean, it could be a tough conversation, right? So this shows up in a lot of areas of our life. The workout we don't want to do, that dream project that feels very terrifying, like, oh my God, what, how? And we call it hard, right? Whatever your definition of hard is. And it's also sometimes scary, right? Because your comfort zone mind only knows what you've done before. It's like, I'm not sure you can do that. Like, first thing I thought was, I haven't done 22 miles. Well, I have done 22 miles in a day, but I haven't done 6,000 feet of elevation gain in 22 miles in a single day at that kind of elevation. So I do have a little bit of a foundation. I did a race a couple years back that had some of these characteristics, but not all of them. So at least I had a little foundation to go, could probably do that. But Jesus, in 3 weeks, I trained for that. Well, I trained for it for over a year. It got canceled, and then I, trained the next year. But anyway, what I love about it is like, oh my God, I haven't been like overly training myself too. So I was kind of excited about that and to give myself this challenge. But where in our life do we put hard and scary and go, nope, can't do it, right? But it's the road to fulfillment, to more confidence, joy, courage, freedom, all sorts of things on that path that looks hard and scary, right? It runs right through hard and scary. No doubt. Isn't that crazy? So today I'm going to help you unpack and understand, like, start walking that road. Like, find the things that are hard and scary and do them one uncomfortable step at a time. Like, don't do it perfectly either, right? So let's look at like why hard things matter, right? And it's like the engine of freedom and satisfaction and fulfillment and all these like benefits that we get on the other side of hard. So if you feel stuck or maybe unfulfilled, it might be because life is not hard enough. And I get it. Life is overwhelming. We've all got things. Oh, my life is hard enough. But is it going in the direction that you want it to go? Like, are you challenging yourself, not just in a job that's like sucking your life out of you? Yeah, it's hard. Or, sometimes we just get like plateaued in things, right? We don't challenge ourselves. So the hard path keeps growth on the table, right? And if you think about your relationships, those difficult conversations, yeah, the authenticity, the vulnerability, like it just totally builds intimacy and trust, right? Like when you can just be like, damn, this is what I did, or this is what I'm thinking, or that hurt me, or, sharing those uncomfortable moments, those things that either are shameful, those are the biggies where growth can happen. I was just listening to an amazing podcast on that, but for another time. And your health, right? Like it's all built by showing up for the workout, for eating well, even when you don't want to, right? It's like saying no to the things that don't serve you and saying yes to like the choices that build the healthy body, that build the intimate relationship, that build the consistent business, if you will. So your success, like you feeling fulfilled and successful, the breakthroughs come long after you're like slogging through the boring, painful middle, right? It's like yesterday I was just like 7 hours of just like just marching away. It was like, and my I do sometimes listen to, audios, podcasts, videos, things like that. Just, 7 hours out there, right? But my cable wasn't working on charging my phone. So I was like, oh, I got to conserve my battery. So it was just me and my mind and the beauty of nature. And it was just like 7 hours out here, getting a little sun baked and wind baked and all that. But it was like getting through that. I came back at the end and I was like, damn, I was so like, man, look what I just did, So the best part is, what? Sometimes you don't have to do it alone, like think about hard things can get easier when you're surrounded by people who normalize discomfort and they cheer you on, right? Like they're putting themselves out there. And one of the things we say in the Come Alive is, when one woman's working, we're all working, right? When you're doing the work and you're putting in the effort and the people around you in a circle in a community, they see that, whether they're like doing it with you. Like I remember when I was training a group for a Spartan race, and man, they were having such a good time, like getting, I was kicking their ass, or they were kicking their own ass, and they were having a ball, like getting through it. But like looking to the left and right of you is like, all right, at least I'm not out here alone, right? Yesterday I had to go along because I didn't plan enough. I could have had someone out with me, but whether you do it alone or do it together, like doing it, right? That's the point. And so, I heard this quote on this podcast, and that's a little bit of what inspired me to do. It's like, if you're unfulfilled or maybe dissatisfied with your life or just feels like meh, right? Maybe your life isn't hard enough. Maybe it's not hard enough. Just ask yourself, right? And so there's this line also over here about scary. Like one thing that I noticed that was different from Mount Whitney, taking on this challenge is like, I knew it was going to be hard, right? And I know myself to be able to do, I did Ironman last year, 2 years ago, yeah, last year. So I did an Ironman. That was fucking hard, right? I've done other races. So I know physical challenge. I've done some crazy Spartan things, right? Lots and lots of trainings. I know my physical endurance and also our mental and our spiritual well-being, right? So like hard is up to us and it's in our mind, right? We can do hard things, the scary things, right? So Mount Whitney, I was like literally scared. I was like, I could hurt myself, like going up against this, monumental challenge. If I'm not prepared, there's fear built in that for me. It's like, like I could get hurt or I could like damage something or whatever. And I was like, like a lot of unknown showed up. So hard is the known difficulty, like running a marathon, hiking this mountain, whatever, like talking to this person, like the things that you need to do, right? Scary is when we go into the unknown. Like the uncertainty shows up. It's that vulnerable conversation, like, I don't know how this is going to go, right? You can't control it, right? Maybe it's a new business. You're like, I have no idea, right? Are we going to make money? Are people going to like what we offer, right? So maybe putting your art out into the world, putting yourself out there, right? Like, I've got this thing I want to share with the world. It's scary, right? And our mind says, don't. You could die, right? Maybe it's not that. Well, it feels like it, right? But it tells you, like, don't do the unknown. Nope. It will always pull you back from that ledge of uncertainty, right? It loves the control, the sense of control. And I gotta tell you, man, like, especially becoming, like traveling a lot and just going, okay, I'm going, like people would say, like, how did you ever buy this RV that you have? And like a solo woman going off wherever I would go, whether I was going, multi-state or like off for the weekend or whatever, and just driving a giant bus, right? And some people were like, that's crazy. And I was like, it wasn't as scary for me, but I have this, I have this threshold for I have a high need for variety, love variety. I think it's because I've just trained my mind that scary often has freaking amazing outcomes, right? Like the things that happen along the way, the growth that I step into, the who I get to be in the face of, I have no idea how this is going to turn out, right? Like all kinds of things are going on in my business and in my life, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like a not a constant, never-ending trust fall, but like repeatedly choosing scary, repeatedly, consistently choosing uncomfortable, unknown, uncertain things. Because, damn, I found that like that's where the fruit of life is out there, right? And scary builds that courage, right? It's not born in comfort. Scary isn't like, I'm sorry, courage isn't born in comfort. You're not like, oh, I'm going to be so courageous and never leave your city, get out, do unknown things. No, it's built when you risk failing. It's built when you risk being judged or not knowing what's going to happen. Like, I have no idea, right? So that's being courageous in the face of. So I would say, like, I say, you can do it scared or you can let scared stop you, right? So doing it scared, it's just a muscle, man. It's a muscle of like, okay, don't know how this is going. And you like because a lot of people, a lot of us have that scared feeling and they don't take it as a death, like something's like if you do scary often enough, you get used to that feeling and go, yeah, this is pretty freaking scary. That's what scary feels like in my body. I'm scared right now. Like there's a lot of uncertainty. I get it. Like, woo, that dysregulation of like, I don't know what's going to happen. Not like death, like don't put yourself in some death defying places, but some unknown places, some uncertainty, uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable exercise, vulnerability, whatever that looks like, hard, right? So every scary thing you do, it creates evidence that you can do scary. You can survive it. And that survival builds huge self-trust, like believing in yourself. You want the foundation of trust with yourself is like do something you're afraid of, do something that's hard, do something that you haven't done before, do something that you've tried and failed at before. Like, that self-trust is like, man, I trust myself to get through this, be resilient, find the way, right? Make the way, as they would say, or bounce back. Be like, okay, correct and continue, pivot, find something else. And scary things free you from perfectionism. Like, man, those eating disorder days that I had, perfectionism and control and all that. And when the outcome isn't guaranteed, when there's not like this, like I do this, this happens. I do this, this happens, right? I'm sorry, my brain would be like, kill me now. Like, okay, like my threshold for uncomfortable variety, lots of uncertainty, stretch that muscle, right? And letting go of control. Like, I don't know, but whatever happens, like I'll figure it out. I've gotten this far in life, banged up, bruised a little bit here and there along the way, whatever. Relationships did or didn't work out. Races went how I wanted, not how I wanted, business, but whatever, right? You learn to be in the messy, in the middle, in the, going through it, maybe failing publicly, right? Grow anyway, be scared and do it anyway. So, I mean, you've heard this, as if you've heard as many times as I have, courage is not the absence of fear, it's moving forward in spite of it, right? Just like a big takeaway, like do it anyway, do it scared, right? So how do you begin? Like, I want to give you some practical strategies to begin to grow that muscle, to transform from, you know, like this small little box. I see sometimes people just playing in like this controlled box and everything is so known. Everybody has a different level. You know, we all fall on different scales of like what excites us, what lights us up. And I found in our Come Alive program, as we were doing it, as somebody was like, oh, I want to set this goal for 10 years from now. Like it was a particular outcome that she wanted. And I was like, well, what if you did it in 5 years? Because like 10 just felt flat when she said it. I was like, okay, you could do that. But I could just tell like it wasn't, you know, like come alive for the things that you want in your life. Otherwise, I'll just like sort of sit out there. And I knew the seed of what she wanted was like exciting for her. But 10 years was just like, meh, it'll get there, you know, 5 years, 1 year, like scared, like scary started to show up. I was like, okay, there we go. We're onto something, right? Like, okay, that like, you know, and then if we move it in under a year, that was like terrifying. It's like, no, can't do it, right? So find your own threshold, right? Set your own goals that have that balance between, you know, scary, exciting, and holy crap, you know. I mean, I was out on a hike and I was like doing this training hike and I'm like, man, I want an epic list. Like Mount Whitney right now, because of this short time frame, feels epic to me. Like it probably would have felt epic, but I would have trained so completely for it that it was like, okay, it's like the next logical thing. Like, oh, really good challenge, you know, whatever. But now it feels like this epic, like, oh my God, I'm getting up to something that I don't know if I can get up to. Could I train for 6 months for it and be ready for it? Yes. That felt like certainty. Could do that, have done that, something like that. But it's like, could I do it in 3 weeks? That scared me. That seems hard. So that's my threshold, right? So just know like all this stuff, you don't have to be ready. Like you don't have to be ready, but you just start, right? And this like readiness, like, oh, I'll do it when I'm ready. That's just a myth. Okay, so momentum comes from getting into action, like moving your own threshold of scary, like shorter if it's a time frame thing, or like the amount that you're going to lean into something. And so I would say, you know, with things out there that nervously excite you or tickle you, like, ah, I would love to do that, but damn, that would be scary, hard, whatever. There's a quote I like. It says, you know, be naive enough to start and stubborn enough to finish, right? Like, I know when I've taken on these races and stuff, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do the 6 day race across the Rocky, you know? And at day 5 in the race, I was so just completely just like just worked, you know, just like, oh my God, another day of doing this. I almost wanted to give up on the 5th day, and the 6th day was the last day. It was the last 6th day was the last day and hardest day. And I went to bed like, I don't know. And my partner was like, you know what? Just wake up tomorrow morning. Just, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You know, just, it's crazy the mind things, you know, it wants to take me out. Bullshit. Got up that day. I was like, woohoo. I was like, can't wait to finish this thing. So with those goals, with those things that seem hard and scary, right? So break it down. You know, big goals are just small steps you just stack together, right? Like this Mount Whitney, it's like, okay, got to do these things, right? Doing a ultra marathon, doing a, you know, moving across the country, big trip, buy a house, whatever it is. It's just lots of little segments, right? Like creating some milestones, creating some mini challenges for you to get it done. And then just surrender and persist, right? Don't fight the discomfort, lean into it, like push through the messiness, the hard, the scary, like do it scared. And growth often happens like right in that middle. It's not usually in the start or the finish. It's like in the middle, you're like, ah, this is like boring, or this is hard, or whatever, right? And sometimes the growth is like right in that middle where you push just a little further and you don't give up and you encourage yourself, or you see something new for yourself, or what, oh my God, it starts to get a little easier. You take your mind off of things. So, you know, especially when it's like a big training thing, or if you're exercising, or if you're getting off the couch, you know, Samantha had the couch potato to, you know, ultra runner, right? So surrender to the suck, right? It's when we're resisting the discomfort that we get into suffering. right? Be like, okay, this is the journey. This is the path that I'm on. Like set that hard thing out there in front of you and like chug away at it, right? And, make it like a practical amount of time of, I do think, when you have a health and wellness goal, like I want to be, I don't love like lose weight goals. I love having a new lifestyle goal because it's like you've got to get into the, not the suck, but get into the new lifestyle. And that may feel different than this old comfortable one you had of, you know, who knows what eating and however much you were exercising. And if you put yourself into this protocol of like, I am a healthy person. I take good care of myself. I put good things into my body. I move my body consistently, regularly, each day, each week. Like that feels like a little bit of a suck, but guess what? Like it starts to become a new normal and you just become like, this is what I do. Like it feels awkward to me not to move every day, right? And that's just who I've become, right? And you can too, depending on what it is you want to get up to. Like I'm getting into the habit of being a content creator, right? Like making YouTube videos every week. I'm like, oh, a little new muscle, and that'll grow. Like it's one a week right now, but eventually I want to be making them way more often than that, right? So, it's that confidence and it compounds, right? Like every time you see yourself do something you say you're going to do, especially when it's hard. Like I came off that almost 17 miles yesterday, 7 hours. I was like, holy crap, look at me. Look at me. Right? Like look at like me looking at me, not look everybody else look at me, but like look at you, girl, check you out. I got at the end, I was like, whoo, that was a, I was only, I was telling Samantha I was only going to be 5 to 6 hours and turned into 7 because I was a little sore. I had a heavy pack on yesterday that it didn't calculate into that. So got a little slowed down, 7 hours, but had enough food, plenty of water. So it was all good. So when you're ready to quit something, right? Like I was like, oh man, I'm still out here and it was getting sunny. I was getting a little sunbaked, just persist a little longer in those things that are worth doing, right? Oftentimes that's where the magic is, where you just get out there and you're just like, okay, I'm going to go. There was this one point where I could have turned around. I was like 3 hours and 40 minutes in and I saw this peak that I wanted to get to. And Samantha's like, you don't need to do it. Like quit it, 5 to 6 hours. What are you trying to do? 7 to 8 hours. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And I noticed I got to this point and I was like, oh man, that peak is like, it looks so close. Like on the map, it looks super close. I was like, oh yeah, I can just, and so I went another 20, 25 minutes. And what was cool is it helped me hit that 3,000 feet of elevation gain. But then I noticed I had missed something on the map and it just like wound around. It was like this, I don't know. Anyway, it would have taken me another half an hour to get to the top. And I was like, okay, well, half an hour there is still going to take me another half an hour to get back. That's going to add another hour. And I was like, okay, nope, cutting it, right? But I persisted. I was like, I want to get a little further, a little further. And it gave me that 3,000 feet. That was awesome. That felt like a huge, yay, winning, right? So I really want you to take a lot from this that, this is all within sight of you, right? There's so much magic and miracles that we can be up to, right? And doing the hard things, doing the scary things builds courage, not just resilience. Hard is known and scary is unknown, right? And it all builds that self-trust. And just start naively. You don't need to know like how this is going to turn out, if you're going to make it, whatever. Some things are just worth starting. Some things are worth challenging, right? So I want to give you like 4 strategies for transformation here. So start before you're ready. Just do it. Right? Be naive enough to start it, even if you don't know how it's going to work out. Break it down. Big goals are just small goals stacked together. Surrender and persist. Like, whew, I'm surrendering to, this is what I've signed up for. It's not always going to be pretty, may not be 100% every time I go about doing it, but I'm going to persist. So don't fight the discomfort. Lean into it. It often happens in that I say, well, we can go about that in habits on another time. And the compounding effect, right? Hard or scary, conquering those two adds to your confidence bank account. And making the next time you do something hard or scary, feel more possible, right? So when you're ready to quit, persist a little longer, and that's where your magic can happen, right? So your homework, your takeaway, your one thing. Confidence and courage, unless you're like a little baby, but then it gets like conditioned out of us. It's not what we're born with. babies, yeah, they're just like free, whatever. They're not, they're taught not to have confidence, taught not to be courageous, but they just don't know any better. But then we learn like all these safety things. Oh, put your seatbelt on. Oh, wear your life jacket, whatever, right? And it sort of trains us like we're fragile. So these courage and confidence muscles, they're built through practice. It's getting out there and doing scary anyway, doing hard anyway, right? One hard thing, one scary thing at a time. So the one thing is choose one hard thing that you've been avoiding, but it would make a difference in your life. Like, that, like, whoa, and it would light you up to have that outcome, whatever that hard path is, whatever that hard route is to get to. You're like, damn, I'd love to have that. Or it's like, oh man, put it out there and take the first step this week. And if there's something scary that you've been avoiding, put it, yeah, sign me up, do it, do it, do it, do it. And do it, even if it's messy or imperfect, all right? And your awesome life isn't waiting on the easy road. Your everyday awesome life, it's not on the easy road. It's often just waiting past the hard and the scary. Take one step and then another and then another. I hope you got something out of this. Mount Whitney's in a couple weeks for me. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll be sharing more about that. Love you, Samantha. Missed you today, sister. And I want to remind you, beautiful humans, how your life feels is more important than how it looks. And every day is your opportunity to find your awesome.